asterisk if you attended Jednota. Please. Because I've already seen faces that, I mean, you know, after 30 years, I don't recognize people. So please sign in, and we're going to get this show in a row. And maybe I'll need a microphone. Maybe I won't.
I know. Can everyone find a seat, please, so we can get started? Unfortunately, it looks like we ran out of handouts, and it was a Jednota newspaper article. It was about the actual sale of Jednota in Middletown, so we'll post that on the website. You can actually just Google it. That's how I found it. But it's really nice information. Not about the nice people of Lower Swatara, but the good people of Jednota. Yes.
That's why I said come up here, so.
All right. Now we're going to get started.
I'm Nancy. Nancy
Okay.
I'm Nancy Avelies, and apparently I can't use the new mics.
Okay.
I'm Nancy Dave said, push it and make sure you hold it.
I don't know why it's shutting us off out for you.
All right. Dave, what am I doing wrong?
Why would you have to hold it?
Try this one more time. We have new mics, but apparently we don't have batteries. We'll find them. All right. Thank you all for coming and welcome. Tonight I'm very excited. Bill Bosnyak's here. He's known to Boz, to me, and to some other folks. He's a lifelong resident of Lower Swatara Township. He grew up here on Rosedale Avenue, right up the road from Jednota. His family, Bosnyaks or Bosnjaks, owned a farm across from the road on Rosedale. The farm was later purchased by Jednota Estates. Bill attended Jednota School from 1st grade through 7th grade and half of 8th grade with his cousins and Olmsted Air Force Base children. Although he attended Jednota, he wasn't an orphan. That was my big takeaway from this. I didn't know that. I didn't know that that folks that weren't orphans attended the school. Bill's going to present tonight his story and his memories about Jednota Estates. And a lot of you may not know the full story. So, Bill?
We're going to try to put this thing in here.
it work?
All right, with we have a PowerPoint presentation, then afterwards I'm going to speak about this is really high-class art. I almost wanted to eat the glue. It smelled good. I was going to take a chomp, but I did. So, my memories are from 56 to 64 at Jednota. Many of you know Jednota from soccer, from taking your children to soccer, or perhaps some of you played soccer at Jednota. Looking around, I don't see too many soccer players in here, but I do see parents that perhaps drove their children to soccer. All right, we'll get started with the PowerPoint. Next slide.
Oh, Bill.
Oh.
I need to record.
It states on September 4th, 1890, 12 men under the leadership of Father Stephen Furdak of Cleveland, Ohio, formed the first Catholic Slovak Union. The first Catholic Slovak Union, it was a fraternal organization that provided cultural and spiritual Catholic support to those immigrants coming to America, the Slavic immigrants. And Jednota, in the language, the Slavic language, J's are pronounced Y's. So Jednota was pronounced Jednota. And that stands for unity or union.
Much better with the lights out.
And they had a bilingual newspaper that was first published in 1891. It was published in English and Slavic language. And the mission of the first Catholic Slovak Union, they donated prolifically to education, religion, the downtrodden, and any other charity that provided goodness for mankind. They believed in brotherhood, kindness, and community. The background of the organization, the Slovak people coming to America in their European motherland for 1,000 years, they were ruled by and under the domination of Hungary. Slovakia was not even recognized as a separate geographical entity until after World War I. And then it became part of Czechoslovakia. And the territory was then known as Upper Hungary. Slovaks were a minority, of course, in Hungary. And the Hungarian parliament even enacted a very strict law. It was called Magyarization. They couldn't teach the language, Slovak. It was forbidden. Now, here in 1914, after years of providing support to widows and orphans through a poor fund, they called it, they purchased land and built the Jednota home, known as the Immaculate Conception School, here in Lower Swatara Township. I do not have any photographs from my childhood. Photography just wasn't a thing. Film processing, cameras all cost money. It just wasn't something that was you know, my parents said it didn't grow on trees. Yeah, I believe them. So, the Jednota school was very similar in setup to Milton Hershey. Milton Hershey was set up in 1909. Jednota, a couple of years later, very similar concept, self-providing. They had a farm, they had a dairy, they had orchards, they had gardening. However, Jednota was a little more forward-thinking than Milton Hershey. He allowed girls. Milton Hershey, girls were a no-no. Young boys. Until the lawsuit involving Girard College in Philadelphia, yada, yada, yada. You'll have to look that one up on your own. Next slide. This. Okay. For anybody that went to Jednota, I think this is the gym. I'm not sure, but it's Christmas time in Jednota, date unknown. I just think it's the gym because of this soil line that's at the top and the wooden floor. Very grand, showing the boys, of course, on the left, girls on the right. They were very separate. Next one. This shows a pit. Now, I don't remember this truck. But that's the Jednota Farm, Middletown, PA farm truck. I believe it's a posed picture because nobody went into the fields to work like dressed like that. That's great. Those are pretty crisp white blouses the girls are wearing. Next one. Now this is a 1937 photo of the orphans with priests in front. And of course you can see the boys with their ties and girls with their white dresses, and you can see some of the nuns. The nuns at Jednota were not progressive. They were full habit. Their dress was full habit. All you saw was this much, and their hands. You saw their hands. But that much of their face, that's all you saw. They had the white garbs. It came over their chin a bit, under their neck, and we think they invented hoverboards because they could quiet. Oh man, they were stealth. They could like glide, and nothing moved. I mean, it was. And they were behind you and on you like that. That's my memory. Just let me. I guess I have to put a disclaimer. These are my memories. Next. Okay. In 1915, after the Jednota home was built, the orphanage, they built the first mother house of the New Order of Nuns, which included St. Anne's Home for the Aged. The nuns at Jednota were from the order of St. Cyril and Methodius, and they were housed out of Danville, PA. And then in 17, the main body of Jednota moved from Lower Swatara Township back to Cleveland. That was their headquarters in Cleveland. So they moved back, but the farm, the school, and the print shop remained, and people then started calling it Jednota Estates. And now we get into a date that has not been confirmed. I think the date of 1965 is false. It states in 1965, the altar in the chapel of Jednota was donated to the the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C., where it remains one of the national shrines most visited chapels. My cousin, the last cousin I believe to go there, had her first Holy Communion there in 1969 in that chapel. So I know the chapel was there in '69. I think this is perhaps a typo from the Jednota archives. I'm thinking the chapel may have been dismantled in perhaps '75. Anybody have know of the date?
Chapel was still there up until the like 79, 80. Because, long story short, when my wife and I were going to get married, we wanted to get married in there. And Monsignor Lentosha said it was still available.
I cannot discount
But
that.
it was run down at that time.
Yeah, I neither can concur nor deny. I don't remember. At that point in time, I was going to St. Mary's Croatian Church in Stilton or the Catholic Church in Middletown. So I don't know. So that's something that we just don't know. However, they are stating that it is in Washington, D.C. for anyone who wants to visit. It was a beautiful altar. It was just exceptional. Oh, here's pictures of it. It had various parts of it made out of marble, carved in marble. It just it was very beautiful. Different holidays, Easter, Christmas, they would have the flowers, the pine boughs, and it was a small chapel. So the smells would just, you know it was Christmas because you could smell the pine boughs. You knew it was Easter because you could smell, what's in purple things? No, what were they? The purple, real smelly flowers. Lilacs. You could smell lilacs, and they were in abundance. In fact, our family farm had a huge lilac bush that we would cut the boughs and take them to the church. So many memories of that. This is a 1936 calendar. This is the Jednota pump house that fed one of those pools that's on my placard board. And this shows the back of the Jednota orphanage. Those steps are leading up to the kitchen. Below the kitchen was the boiler room. Behind it are the cafeteria, the nuns' dining area, and across the hall was the priest's dining area. At the priest's island. Okay, we'll get into the printer. There was the original printer was along Route 230, where the airport connector route travels across 230. Down below it, in fact, I think it was right about where the exit to Route 230 comes off the connector. I think right about where that exit is where the printer was. The printery was, if I'm facing the airport, the printery would have been on my right, and the Phil Robach and Rose Robach's house was on the left. That area flooded a lot. Finally, it just became too much, and the Airport Connector Road, they then moved it along the turnpike, which it's still there today. I don't think it's operational, but the building is still there along the turnpike, just south, in between Stoner Drive and the Airport Connector. I've not been back there. I've never driven back there since D&H built. So
They tore it down when they built the.
it's torn down? Okay. It's no longer there. The original printery was Phil Robach and Rose Robach. Phil was a wonderful man, Mr. Robach. Rose probably was the most prolific author of Slovak to English and English to Slovak translation books. After Phil died, she resided in Shope Gardens, right there by the ball field. And there's another calendar from 1950. This had a lot in that particular 1950 calendar. There was a lot about Middletown, a lot of information about the Middletown, Lower Swatara area. And in note, I don't remember this, Chuck, maybe you do. There was a cemetery on the grounds of Jednota. I vaguely remember that it perhaps was very close to the border of our farm.
It's the other side of the airport access road. Joe's property.
Okay, I just, that's something that I wasn't able to recall.
It was on the far hill across the farm up at the Glide House.
Okay.
Cemetery, all the railings and wires are still up there.
Oh.
When they did all the everything, they moved all the bodies.
In 74.
I think the chin check.
Yeah, the notes here say that in 74 it was removed and the graves were relocated to family plots or to the Middletown Cemetery. That's one that I cannot recall. And the new printery, when it was built, it was the state-of-the-art printer. Joe Kreisa, Senior, was the editor, and he really had himself one heck of a building there. They didn't just do the Jednota newspaper. He contracted all kinds of printing jobs. A lot of the area went to Jednota Printery to have, I believe Middletown had the football programs were printed there for the longest time. So the Jednota Printery was prevalent in our economy for more than just the printing of Slovak literature. Now, the printery, of course, was put there for two reasons. The land was through eminent domain by the state. It was condemned, the floodplain, etc. So they demolished it, and it was moved to high ground, where it was until it was demolished, there along the turnpike. And in 1976, the home was leased to the Diocese of Harrisburg for $1 a year, and they had retreats, training seminars. They did that for a few years until the building was no longer able to be used. It became a maintenance nightmare. Holes in the roof, brick walls were collapsing. So that was the beginning of the demise in 1990, in the 90s. I drove by one day, it was there. I drove by the next day, it was gone. It went past. Then there were several offers for the land. They all fell through for one reason or another. Then a couple of years later, it came down to 2, and D&H was the winner of the bid. And shown on the slide there, the top picture is D&H's headquarters out on Old Jonestown Road, close to the Costco shopping center. It's the old AMP
I think it's closer.
campus.
I think it's closer to where Carnes is at.
Hey?
Where Carnes is at.
Yes. And the lower photo is D&H Jednota. Now, this is the memorial that was dedicated September 13th, 2015. D&H graciously gave that land to Jednota. And that is the main gate. That is situated at the main gate that led up to the Jednota orphanage. It was a grand driveway with a circle, with a flagpole in the middle, the statue of Father Furtick, and then this guy, the doughboy, he was down at the old printery along 230. And I know there are people in this room that remember the doughboy holding a can of beer. I just know there's people in this room that might remember him holding a can of beer. I won't mention, but today he stands as a symbol of the fight and valor for all veterans who were members of Jednota, who died and are presently veterans alive. You can see there's a list of names on the lower left. The trees that line the road are linden trees, and they're the official tree of Slovakia. It's just very interesting. Now, there's 3 flags of polished red granite etched with the national flags of the United States, Canada, and Slovakia. and the plaques are etched with historical scenes and subjects, which have won